everyone. I am Mark Suzuki, President of Accuphase. Thank you for coming House of Music Group booth at the Hong Kong High-End Audio Visual Show 2021. It is a great pleasure for Accuphase to join this world's greatest high-end audio show through this video clip. Since 1972, under the corporate motto, Enrich Life Through Technology, Accuphase has been manufacturing the high-quality audio equipment offering excellent sound, excitement and satisfaction for the audiophiles all over the world. We will celebrate the 50th anniversary of the company establishment in 2022. Wishing we could visit this wonderful show to spending time with you. But the global pandemic of COVID-19 is still badly affecting people's lives. We decided to hold back the show attendance until the COVID-19 situation gets better. Hope the things all get back to normal next year. We should be able to meet you at the Hong Kong Show 2022. To mark up the 50th anniversary of Accuphase founding, we will launch another flagship product in this summer. As you know well, Accuphase has already released the integrated E800 and the preamp C3900. Then the next will be the combo of SSCD transport and digital processor. The model name is DP1000 and DC1000. DP-DC1000 combo is our flagship SSD player with an elegant design and many of refined technologies, like the high rigidity SSD drive mechanism with the ability of precise data reading, and the sophisticated DAC circuit that brings out the real texture or the deep detail of music. They are the achievement of Accuphase, 50 years journey of pursuing an ultimate in sound quality. Hope that everybody experience the best technology of DP-DC1000 and fully enjoy the very essence of music. In closing our address, Accuphase sincerely wishes a big success for this Hong Kong show. Also hopes the COVID-19 situation gets resolved as soon as possible, and that people in the world will be impressed by good music with Accuphase products for the better future to be built. Thank you very much. Enjoy the show.
Good morning. Well, first of all, we'd like to ask in the upcoming Hong Kong Hi-Fi show in August, which is coming soon next month, your products will be exhibited by HMG, the group. This interview would like to let the audiophiles in Hong Kong to get to know about your products. Firstly, introduce a bit of the company background to us.
Of course, yeah. So I'll introduce myself first. I'm Angie Soster, so I'm the Managing Director of Fyne Audio. And the company has been going, still quite young company. I'm not young, but the company is quite young. We started in 2017. The background to the company is that we are, the people who started the business have been in the audio industry many years, working for lots of different companies. But we all have one common denominator, that we all worked for one company, the same company for about 10 years, and that was a company called Tannoy. and we all worked together in that business until 2016. And around the end of 2016, it became really obvious we should do something else and start a new business. And so we all came together at the beginning of 2017 to start the Fyne Audio business. So quite young still. Only actually, although we started in 2017, we didn't really, and we showed some early products in that year. The first show we went to was in the Munich show in May of 2017. And then we came to the Hong Kong show, and also in 2017, just with a couple of products, mainly prototype products. So we didn't really get started until the following year, 2018, and actually properly trading. And we had we started with 3 ranges, two budget ranges, and then a flagship range. So the flagship range is the F1 series, and then the 2 budget ranges, 300 and the 500 series. So a lot of experience in designing product. So that's how we started. Hong Kong was one of the very first places we exported products to, and it's also into China. HNG also handled the Chinese market for us. So that was one of the very first places. But and Asia is a very important market for us. That's why I always come to the Hong Kong show if I can. I'm really sorry I can't be there this year. I'd like to have been there this year again. I was hoping that the restrictions would allow us to come, but we couldn't come.
Talk about the show, the upcoming show. You're going to launch 2 type, the bookshelf speakers, F1,
Yeah.
F1.8 and F1.5. Is that correct?
We wanted to create the same feeling as the F1.10 and F1.12, but obviously in a smaller configuration. So the F1 and the F1.5 that we're doing at the show is actually is a red version like this. So I just picked it from the factory today. This hasn't got a drive unit in yet, so we're still building these. So it's a special edition, kind of red version that we're.
Talk about the color. Why you choose red? So special.
Red is an interesting color. It's one of these colors you either like or you don't like. You know, colors are very similar. We could go black or white, and that's very normal. So red is something.
Breadfruit.
Yeah, but you're going to get people who love it, or people who just would never ever consider it. But actually, certainly my knowledge, limited knowledge of the sort of Chinese market is red's a good color in China, quite like red.
I also understand there's a model called 704. Is that a floor standing or is it a bookshelf?
So 704 is a floor standing.
It's a floor standing. They will be also in the show.
Yes.
Anything special about 704? Characteristic wise or whatever?
It's a 12-inch point source driver or isoflare driver, and it's got a supplementary 12-inch bass driver, so 2 big drive units in that product. So it's a very, very big presentation sound coming from that. And with the 2 drive units, you're getting a very, very powerful extended bass bottom end on the product. It's different from our F1.12 in that F1.12 uses a twin roll fabric surround on the cone, whereas the 704 has a rubber surround with a fine flute on it, and it's slightly it's not as stiff on the F1, or not as stiff on the 704. And actually, it's good and bad. This product sounds fantastic, by the way, and we're talking small changes, and you have to be very good to listen to the differences. So you audiophiles will know. But the 704 is slightly easier to drive than the F1.12. It's less compliance in the drive unit, so it's easier to drive, slightly less stiff. Which means actually it's probably easier to match to lots of more electronics. So it's not as demanding on the electronics that you need to drive the product. If you compare that with the F1.12, because that's the other 12-inch unit, it's probably harder to drive. You need something.
So it's more user-friendly.
The 704 is more user-friendly. That's a good summary. Thank you. You did it better than I did. Yeah, well,
Don't mention it. It's good. It's been nice talking to you and learn more from your side.
Okay, listen, nice talking to you. Maybe I'll meet you in person in a year's time when I come.
Yeah.
Upcoming Hong Kong Hi-Fi show in August. We understand that your products will be exhibited by HMG, and so at this interview, we'd like to get the Hong Kong audiophiles to get to know more about your products. First of all, seeing that all your products have been upgraded to Neo series, what is the difference between the series and the previous products?
It's more or less a totally new product, so everything is different. So the bearing is different, the technology for the motors, the technology for the motor electronic, the way we build them, and with the tone arms we also changed most of the mechanical parts. We try, especially with the arms, to keep the outside look, because it was very well accepted, but internally we did a total upgrade and small cosmetic changes, but mainly it's a technical change. So the Neo series is a totally new line which we developed to start up in a much more effective way than we thought, and at the end we decided to really put everything into the new product. We used the time we had to develop really a new line with much more focus on music quality. So in the past we have been very concentrated on technical things and good sound, but now with the new developments we really have been focusing on sonic improvements and increase of the lifetime and so on.
Next question would be, I see there are quite a number of turntable models in your production. So in terms of value for money or cost performance, which model would you recommend?
A tricky question, but to keep it honest and answer it, I would say the best bang for the money, like we say, I would say is the Typhoon.
Typhoon New.
Typhoon New. There is no old Typhoon, so Typhoon Neo, and this gives you it's not a cheap turntable, but it's let's say for high end, it's an affordable price point, but it gives you all the technology. It gives you the intensive CLD construction, ABC3, it gives you the DT bearing, and it gives you 24 silencers. So all those technologies that really improve the sound you get with I would say more or less small footprint. So it's not a huge turntable. The turntable uses a little bit more space than the record itself. The arm boards are in the air, so you don't need space on your rack on top for this unit. As all the motors are integrated. With the models before, we had those external standing motors. So then 2 or 3 motors, then it would be quite a huge turntable that needs a lot of space on the racks, and with most of the racks it wouldn't work with 3 motors. That is what I would say. The Typhoon is really something very, very good for the money, and we then go to the next model, which is at that point the Montana, and we listen to same arm, same cartridge, same rest of the system. And we listen to the Typhoon and we then listen to the Montana. If we then start discussing, at the Typhoon the mid-range was a little more crispy and nicer, but on the Montana it had advantages here and there, then we didn't achieve what we want. If we have something that is significantly more expensive, we should listen to it. 10 minutes to the Typhoon, 30 seconds to the Montana, and then the customer must say, thank you, that's it. It's better in any matter, but maybe I don't buy it because it's double the price. Then the money comes into it. But if you listen, the idea for us to develop things is, if it's more expensive, it must sound better. And it must sound better in short notice. Not that you need to listen to it for 2 days and then you say, yeah, it's okay, it's better, but that's not worth the extra money. And so Typhoon gives you the biggest bang for the money. Montana is the better turntable, but that's an extra investment of around $15,000. So it's double the price, and the gap is high. From Hurricane to Typhoon, the gap is 3,000. The next gap from Typhoon to Montana is really much more money, and so that's where we understand it. But client says, yes, I hear the difference.
Talking about tone arms, do you make the tone arms in-house?
We do everything in-house. We have a quite expensive measuring tools and systems for way above 100,000 euros just to control what we are producing. And we often realize that if we order from other clients or companies, the tolerances are out of spec, and the next problem is the optical quality is quite often a problem if it comes to metalwork. They can sometimes keep the tolerance, but then it doesn't look nice. And with HiFi we have the problem, especially with mechanics, people have a very high demand on perfect surfaces, perfect edges and faces, and we also have tight tolerance, not on any part, but a lot of parts. And we realized at the end of the day that if we do it by ourselves, we can train the machine operators to our level, and we can really explain them what is important, what you need to take care for. And as it is our own product, they know it, and then with the next production batch, it's in the same quality. And we realize that the more we do ourselves, the less trouble we have, and the more control we have about it. So we design everything in-house, we manufacture everything in-house. The only thing which we don't do in-house is the wooden enclosure of a double X. Because we are metal guys, we have no real clue about wood. So that this is something we order outside. And what we also don't do in-house is the PCBs. I'm an electronic engineer, so I tell the developing company what we want, but they develop, they do the software, they put the parts on the PCB, and they then assemble the PCB and send the tested unit, a working unit, to us, and we put it into the product. So this is something we don't do in-house, but this is done from a well-known electronic company called Trigo, and they also do electronics, amps, preamps, and it's made in Germany. It's 2 hour ride away from where we are. Anything else when it comes to mechanics, any tone arm part, we have our own lifts, so we don't buy the tone arm lifts from somebody else. It's our own construction. We do all the bearings, we do all the constructions, the arm tubes, everything in-house. So we don't rely on external things. The bearings we use are specially made from well-known bearing manufacturers to our specs. We don't rely on too much external work, because the experience was in this, you don't have the control you need about it. If you do it inside, if you do it by yourself, you get what you need.